Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win, or you find a way to lose. Look, I don't even know what to say anymore when it comes to Conor Benn. First of all, make sure you like, subscribe, consider donating to the channel. I've done numerous videos on Conor Benn, and Conor Hen is what I call him, and the whole thing about clomiphene in the eggs and orally administering clomiphene to hens somewhere in Russia, and as a result of orally administering clomiphene to the hens end up increasing their egg production rate, and more eggs are being laid. Unfortunately, those eggs that are being laid are becoming contaminated with the clomiphene because the clomiphene was orally administered to hens. Supposedly, Conor Benn got himself a batch of about 2,000 of those eggs and bought them, and that's how he got the clomiphene in his system from eating clomiphene contaminated eggs that were imported to the UK from Russia. Some crazy story that's out there on the internet. But that being said, look, man, doors are closing on Conor Benn. And it's the truth. The whole Pacquiao fight, I don't know why that didn't materialize. Pacquiao was over there hounding Eddie Hearn about a fight against Conor Benn. You got Kell Brook, who's returning for something. But then you hear Eubank Jr. supposedly activated his rematch clause with Liam Smith. Now you see that it's Eubank Jr. Conor Benn. Looks like they're supposed to be fighting on June 3rd in Abu Dhabi, right? But the word on the street is the British Boxing Board of Control, they're like, nah. They don't want Conor Benn fighting at all. And now they're telling Eubank Jr. that he needs to get approval from them if he wants to fight Conor Benn over there in Abu Dhabi. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know the rules, but that just seems like they're overstepping their boundaries. But I don't know the rules. I need to access their covenants and everything and read through there to understand what their bylaws are and what is and isn't allowed when you have a boxing license, a British boxing license. You're going to sit there and put Eubank Jr. in a precarious position to where he may lose his boxing license, British boxing license, because he's going to go fight Conor Benn in the Middle East. I mean, why punish Eubank Jr.? You know what I mean? They can't do nothing to Conor Benn because Conor Benn tore his license up. Yeah, man, I tell you what, well, Eddie Hearn is out here trying to figure that out right now because he lost about $1 million. You know, they say over in the UK, $1 million quid, right? So he lost $1 million with that whole, when Conor Benn and Eubank Jr., that fight fell apart. But if it was to go forward, Conor Benn and Eubank Jr., I mean, look, I don't even know who wins because, first of all, if they're going to fight, what weight are they fighting at? And is Eubank, first of all, right, let's talk about the weight. Is Eubank Jr. that desperate, that stupid to drop back down to 160 or even to try to get to 157? Like, is he still out here playing with fire? Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, Conor Benn, I hate to hear Eddie Hearn talk about, Conor Benn, he's coming up 10 pounds. Let me tell you, Conor Benn comes down past 160, 157 to get to 147. So he's not coming up in weight. He's just stopping about 10 pounds, 13 pounds above a weight that he is melting down to get into. So Conor Benn is in a much better space. So don't come trying to sell this crap to me like Conor Benn is at such a huge disadvantage going in against the much bigger Eubank Jr. Nah, man. No, he's not. So, but that being said, I think it's a huge mistake for Eubank Jr. to kill himself to get down to that weight. We saw Liam Smith damn near killed him. You could say he hit him with an elbow, but it was a shot before the elbow that got him in trouble, all right? And there were shots in the first couple of rounds that got him in trouble too. But that being said, so that's my first concern when it comes to Eubank Jr. Now, continuing on, I'm going to tell you right now, I mean, is he still out there playing around with Roy Jones? Roy Jones Jr.? You see, that's a serious question. Nothing against Roy Jones. Roy Jones Jr. was he may have been the most athletic boxer that ever put on a pair of gloves. But as far as a trainer, the verdict's still out on Mr. You Must Have Forgot. But I tell you what, the boxing fans haven't forgotten what the hell happened to Eubank Jr. Against Liam Smith. And the boxing fans haven't forgot about that guy he was training who was supposed to fight Adrian Broner. And how word on the street is Roy Jones decided he put that guy into sparring like 8-9 days out. Supposedly, right? And he ended up getting himself hurt and missed out on the biggest opportunity of his boxing career. But then somebody, a little secret squirrel, came out and said, look, nothing ever happened to that kid. Those were all lies about that guy who was supposed to fight Adrian Broner. Those were lies about him getting hurt in sparring. They said the reality is Roy Jones didn't want him to fight again. He didn't want him to fight Adrian Broner because he knew Adrian Broner would beat him and would probably knock him out cold. And Roy Jones didn't want to be that trainer who just had Eubank Jr. fight and get smoke knocked out of him, and then have another one of his fighters after the whole damn world, started pointing fingers at Roy Jones as being a horrible trainer. Then he has another fighter come out within less than 60 days and gets knocked out cold and gets smoke knocked out of him. That would make Roy Jones look horrible. So they're saying that's why Roy Jones pulled the plug on that guy going forward with the fight. They say it was all Roy Jones. And if you say, who's they? It was the kid's father. He did an interview. Go out there and find it. It's on YouTube. I'm not making this up. But that being said, we're going to see just what direction all this goes. Because I'm going to be honest with you right now, man. The British Boxing Board of Control knows that their hands are kind of tied, but they're looking at what they can do legally to preclude Conor Benn from making any money off of boxing. And Eddie Hearn's going to do everything he can. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes to old Fast Eddie, he's the kind of guy you want on your team. If he's with you, Fast Eddie is with you. He's going down in flames with you. He's a guy you want on your team. But if he's not with you, it's not what you want. Look at Lawrence Okolie. Fast Eddie. Same way he has that gift of gab and that way of convincing people of certain things and persuading people to see things his way. If he's with you, that's the guy you want on your team. If he's not with you, not who you want on your team. But that being said, we'll see what happens with Conor Benn, but I definitely feel he came out here. Hey, man, he does too much attitude, too much cockiness. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff, acting all ballsy, man. Challenging the system. You can't sit there, man, and puff up your chest at the secret society. You can't do that. Conor Benn, who's Conor Benn? For him to puff up his chest at VADA testing, UCAT testing. You know what I'm saying? At the WBC. You're messing with the wrong people. British Boxing Board of Control. All of our intelligence. Sitting there insulting them hens and chickens and all of them. What the hell's wrong with him to say it? To come out here, man, and attack the chickens, the hens, you know what I'm saying? He's just attacking everybody. But that being said, man, we'll see what happens with Conor Benn and who he's fighting next. But Pacquiao seems like Pacquiao's out the question. Kell Brook's out the question. Looks like the front runner is old Eubank Jr. But it looks like that may not happen, so who knows what's going to happen. Whatever we talk about today, wake up in the morning, it's a different story. So don't unsubscribe if the news changes within the next 24 hours. All right? That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. Eat something good, but don't eat them damn boiled eggs. I'm in the breeze.